guys, Toby Hampson here, back again for the second installment of my review of the Invisible Speed online training course. So this is going to be, a pretty short video. Just going to kind of give you an update on progress made today. I'm going to talk about some of the walkthroughs and Zoom calls that have been happening over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and then thoughts so far, and then my next steps. So there was a promotion done the last couple of months leading up to late November to promote this online training course, and one of the incentives was the availability of 3 or 4 professional drivers, well-known big-time professional drivers, for getting on calls with them and doing live walkthroughs. So I was fortunate enough to get involved ahead of that, and the last 3 or 4 weeks we've been on calls with some of those drivers. So the cutoff of this was the 21st of November. So starting the week of 22nd, we started doing some calls. Robert Battier, David Ronnefalk, and Carl McBride. So far, the 3 drivers that have been doing a couple of classes a week to cover all the different time zones. For drivers who are participating in the Invisible Speed course. So they've been classes at like 6 a.m. Eastern Time and in the afternoon, early afternoon. So far we've done a few walkthrough classes with Robert Battier and Ronnefalk and McBride. We've covered some topics such as driving technique, fundamentals of car setup, and engine setup. It's been on a live Zoom format, an hour and a half or so, with access to those drivers, questions and answers. The guys have been super helpful, super open. The calls have been facilitated by JQ himself, so there's some good structure and flow. One thing that's pretty cool, if you can't attend the meetings, the meetings are available for a replay after the fact. So if somebody in a certain time zone can't catch one of the classes, they can then replay those. For me personally, the last few weeks I've been digging into Module 10, which is kind of like the meat and potatoes of the full online course subscription. So as I consume more of the content, it's dawned on me how beneficial it is for me to see video to present some of the concepts. I think that this is super valuable, and for a lot of people, maybe just me, but I'm sure there's a lot of people like me who need to actually be able to see and touch the concept that's being presented. So you could have a book and read the facts, but if you actually see a video of what a car is actually doing, it definitely makes things a lot easier to understand. So some of the stuff that Joseph presents in these videos, along with regards to concepts like jacking, camber gain, pitch and roll, he does small little videos of a car, sitting on a table, and actuates the suspension to demonstrate some of these concepts, which I think is super valuable. Definitely is for me. You can actually really see what the car's doing versus just reading some information and then figuring out when you're going to get to the track to actually try it out. So the course comes with some tools in the form of charts and spreadsheets. Super helpful in identifying what the car's doing or what you need based on known track conditions. So if I consider some of this with regards to my car, I think that as a driver, my car is set up to be somewhat safe, maybe a little on the numb side. So not necessarily fast. So it may have some characteristics like being maybe a little slower in the turns, maybe a little bit of oversteer, not carry a ton of speed, less snappy, a little bit more forgiving. So some of the things presented within the content and the video are described as easy versus fast setup. So, you know, obviously mine is maybe set up to be more of an easier overall car to drive as opposed to being fast. So, you know, there's lots of changes that are recommended within the context of that to help you understand kind of like the initial grip versus overall grip, things you can do to you know, improve the car or free the car up to gain more speed. So personally, I've not had a ton of time in the last 3 or 4 weeks to do a lot of get a lot of practice with my 8-scale buggy. I've done a little bit of 10-scale driving, but obviously the weather here in the Northeast is not necessarily ideal for getting to the track. I did, however, attend the Fall Brawl in South Carolina this past weekend. Was able to drive this car down there. The track surface was a very high grip treated clay surface. We were running very hard tires, and even then the cars were glued to the track like Velcro. So by using some of these tools I had available to me at the time, I was able to work on some changes to make the car a little bit more forgiving, a little bit less sensitive to all that grip. So some things that I changed were my diff setup, going to thicker diffs all around, adjusting link lengths, and addressing other things like caster and roll center. So the tools that come in the with the course were super helpful at identifying changes to be made and kind of the sequence of changes and why and how. I don't really have a ton of criticisms of the course right now. I think if you were a basic member, you might be a little frustrated because some of the earlier modules are not published yet. So that's just one thing that I would say would be a criticism. Personally, I've not made a ton of use of the chat function within the Discord server, but that's really just on me. I think that once I start to come up with some more questions and ideas, I'll be able to kind of see the value of the community and hopefully get some feedback. Overall thoughts so far. I think I definitely gained a lot more understanding just from the chapters that I've read. Through those practical examples, having those tools available to me, it's definitely given me a little bit more confidence about changes that I make and when and why and what the effect will be on the car. So definitely some benefits in the short amount of time and the small amount of content that I've read so far. So in the next video I'm going to delve more into Module 10, which is the more complex or the bulk of the course related to geometry and car setup. Hopefully I can do some more pragmatic testing where I can identify a particular issue on the track and then figure out what changes I need to make, and then hopefully you know, capture some useful results to better present kind of like the overall experience and usefulness of the course. So that about wraps it up. So please subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels, and I'll catch you next time.